Janitor was forced to drink from the dog bowl at an elite PA Rudy until the ancient African artifact in his hands glowed, shocking everyone. Tonight was the closing banquet of the Africa Future Summit. Politicians, TYCNS, and foreign diplomats gathered, chatting about investment, innovation, and the rise of Africa. In a corner, Amina Bello kept her head down, wiping the marble floor over and over with a rag. Her faded blue uniform was washed thin, and the edges of her rubber shoes were cracked. She tried to make herself small, like dust, so she wouldn't disturb the glamorous event. She knew that to these people, she wasn't a person. She was just background, a servant, something to be ignored. She had just finished cleaning the hallway leading to the terrace when sudden laughter erupted from the center of the room. "Come, come. Check out what our French friend just suggested." A sharp male voice rang out. It was Ikenna himself, dressed in a tailored suit, his gold watch glinting under the lights. "Let's make our African spirit come alive." Amina looked up and saw a red-faced white man, swaying drunk, pointing at her with his wineglass. "You always say Africans are tough and hard-working, right? Let's see her perform some primitive survival. If she drinks water like a dog, I'll give her 10,000 naira." The crowd burst into laughter. Someone whistled. Others raised their phones to record. Amina's heart sank. Her fingers clenched the rag. Ikenna clapped, grinning. "Great idea. Let her show us the untamed side of Africa. Waiter, bring the dog bowl." Amina's breath caught. She watched as a young waiter hesitantly brought out a stainless steel bowl, the kind they kept by the back door for the Gwa RD dogs. It was filled with water, shimmering coldly under the lights. "Come on, cleaner." Another guest jeered. 10,000 naira, that's half a month's pay for you." Amina stood frozen. She wasn't a stranger to hardship. Her father died young. Her mother raised her and her brother by selling herbs. She dropped out after elementary school, working as a laundry girl, a porter, and now a cleaner. She had always rented her keep, never stealing, never begging. She could handle dirt, exhaustion, even the foreman's yelling. "But this being treated like an animal in front of everyone, I won't drink," she said softly, but clearly. The laughter faltered. "What did you say?" Ikenna's eyes narrowed. "You refuse your master's order. I'm not a dog." Amina lifted her gaze, scanning the crowd of polished, indifferent faces. "I'm a person. I have a name, Amina Bello. I'm not your entertainment. How dare you?" Ikenna Roa read. "Security. Drag her out. Dock her pay." Two black-suited Gwa RDs moved in. In the chaos, Amina instinctively clutched the wooden pendant hanging from her neck, a small, Ca staff her father had pressed into her hand on his deathbed. It was about a foot long, Ca with the face of Eshu, the Yoruba trickster god. She had always worn it as a keepsake, her only inheritance. But the moment her fingers tightened around it, it grew warm. Not just warm. It pulsed, like something inside was waking up. She looked down and thought she saw a faint blue glow flicker across the wood, so quick she might have imagined it. She froze. And in the corner, unnoticed, Professor Namdi, an elderly historian in a plain cotton robe, read at the staff, his lips trembling. "Alyawa know it can't be how," but no one paid him any attention. The Gwa RDS shoved Amina. She stumbled back, and the staff bumped against an antique mahogany table. The moment they touched, a deep hum vibrated through the floor. The table trembled. Glasses clinked. Silence fell. Earthquake, someone gasped. "Don't be stupid, Lagos doesn't get earthquakes." Ikenna snapped, but his voice wavered. Amina, too, was stunned. She looked at the staff, still warm, still pulsing like a heartbeat in her palm. "Get out." Ikenna Sna led, pointing at the door. "If I see you again, I'll have you arrested." Amina didn't speak. She straightened her back and walked out, step by step, like walking on knives. But she didn't bow her head. Behind her, laughter, whispers, and camera flashes followed. Just before she crossed the threshold, she heard Ikenna mutter to someone, "See that's the lower class. Give them a little money, and they think they can raise their heads. We have to remind them of their place." Amina paused. Her place she tightened her grip on the staff. The heat pulsed back, matching her heartbeat. She stepped into the night. The sea wind hit her face. She didn't look back. Down the hill, she walked slowly but steadily. Only when she turned into a narrow alley, certain no one was following, did she stop, leaning against a wall, gasping. Tars finally fell. Not from shame. From rage. Rage at the deep-rooted contempt. At the idea that Africa equals primitive or poor equals worthless. She pulled out the staff, studying it under the moonlight. The red face of Eshusta read back, eyes deep, lips curled in a half-smile. She ran her thumb over it and whispered to Papa, "What did you leave me? Why does it burn? Why did it shake?" No answer. But she remembered her father's dying words, broken like a dream. "Amina Aliyawa, not with memory. When you're ready it will take you home." Home, she laughed bitterly. "My home is a tin shack in Sunshine Village. My home is floors I can never finish cleaning. My home is being treated like a dog." She pressed the staff to her chest, as if it could give her strength. Then, sirens. 2 black SUVs raced past, heading toward the mansion. Her stomach dropped. Had Ikena sent them after her? She ducked deeper into the alley, heart pounding. Meanwhile, back in the mansion's security room, a technician replayed the footage. He zoomed in on the moment Amina bumped the table. "Boss, look at this," he said, pointing. Before the table shook, that staff in her hand, did it just glow? The supervisor squinted. "Nonsense. Probably a reflection. Delete it. Don't let the boss see weird stuff." "But, do it." The clip vanished. But that flicker of blue light, it had already planted the seed of a storm. Amina didn't know it yet, but that worthless staff in her hand, a seed asleep for 1,000 years, had just woken up. And she definitely didn't know that a tidal wave about memory, dignity, and who truly owned civilization was rising from the heat in her palm. She looked up at the stars. Lagos light pollution drowned most of them out. But for a second, she swore she saw a single beam of light from somewhere far away, cutting through time and space, landing right on her. She whispered, "I'm not a dog. I'm Amina. And I won't forget." Then she turned and walked into the darkness. Toward her home, her fight, and her fate. 2 a.m., Sunshine Village, Lagos East. The slum was deep asleep. The corrugated iron roofs groaned in the night breeze. Somewhere, a stray dog barked. Amina curled up in her tiny shack. Relay 10 sqa meters, a mattress on the concrete floor, a pile of old clothes and a tattered English textbook in the corner. Outside, a flickering streetlight swayed like a tired eye. She wasn't sleeping. Her fingers clutched the wooden staff. Aliyawa. Ever since she fled Ikena's mansion, the strange rmth and it hadn't faded. It wasn't like a fever or electricity. More like a whisper. A call from deep in her blood. She pressed it to her ear, almost hearing a faint hum like wind through ancient trees. "Papa, what are you trying to tell me?" she murmured. Then, the staff burned. Amina nearly dropped it. At that moment, a faint blue light flickered in the eyes of the Eshusta carving at its tip. The glow spread like spiderwebs, casting hazy images in the dark room. Astrry sky. 3 mountains in a triangle. A glowing well at the center. People in ancient clothes stood around it, holding staffs like Aliyawa, chanting a melody as they gazed upward. The vision vanished as fast as it came. Amina shot up, heart pounding. She rubbed her eyes. The staff lay quiet again, as if nothing happened. Am I losing my mind? She whispered. The humiliation, the chase, the terror, it was too much. But the vision felt real. The mountains, the well, the song, she could still hear the echo of that chant. She dug out her father's only legacy, a battered notebook. Yellowed pages, messy handwriting, a mix of Yoruba and English. She read, Eshugwa RDS the door guides the path. He doesn't judge, he tests. CRTS Aliyawa is not wood. It is a vessel of memory. When blood awakens, when the heart seeks truth, the door opens. Do not trust the history written by colonizers. The light of all never went out. Amina frowned. She'd never heard that name in school. History books only talked about tribes, primitive societies, colonization brought civilization. Before she could think, more footsteps outside. Light. Quick. She killed the lamp, held her breath. Through a crack in the iron wall, she saw two shadows moving door to door, flashlights and walkie-talkies in hand. I ken his men. You sure she came back? One muttered. Cameras caught her heading this way. Boss wants that staff and her phone. Says she might have snapped pics of the collection room. A cleaner. What's she gonna do with it? Don't underestimate her. That staff, it's weird. Amina's pulse ROA red. She stuffed Aliwa under her shirt, grabbed her phone and jacket, and slipped out the back window. It led to a stinking drainage ditch, knee-deep in filthy water. She didn't see a She crouched low, moving fast in the arcade. Behind her, flashlight swept her room. She's gone. Move. Then rain. Not drizzle. Lagos monsoon rain. A downpour so thick it turned the slum into a blur. Amina ran, slipping in mud. She knew she couldn't go home. They'd tear at APART. There was only one place left. Mama 80's hut. The old medicine woman, over 70, knew herbs, prayers, and old stories. Amina's mother used to take her there for healing. Some called Mama holy. Others said superstitious. But Amina knew Mama's eyes saw truth. The hut stood at the village edge, palm leaves and clay walls, roof leaking but clean inside. Mama sat grinding herbs by oil lamp. At the knock, she tensed. Who? Mama, it's me. Amina. The door cracked open. Mama yanked her inside. Child. You're soaked. What happened? Amina gasped, pulling out Aliwa. Mama, this thing, it glowed. I saw things. Men after me. Mama took the staff. Her bony fingers traced Eshu's face, then froze. Her eyes widened. Aliwa, she whispered. You live, you know it. Amina stammered. Mama didn't answer. She lit 3 candles, placed them in a triangle, set the staff in the center. Then she closed her eyes and sang an old Yoruba chant, deep and ancient, like the EARTH itself was humming. As she sang, Aliwa glowed blue again. Mama opened her eyes. TRS shone in them. Child, didn't your father tell you you're a gatekeeper's daughter? Gatekeeper to what? The door of wisdom. Mama's voice turned solemn. Long, long ago, before Egypt's pyramids, before Rome, West Africa had a great land called Isle. Its people ruled not by swords, but by EARTH light. They read STARS, spoke to plants, knew the frequency of ERTS. They used staffs like Aliwa to tap into the land's energy, healing sickness, predicting storms, making deserts bloom. Amina listened, spellbound. Then outsiders came. Conquerors from the north. Ships from the west. They knew no light, only gold, silver, land. They burned books, killed the wise, stole sacred things. Isle was erased. Its name forgotten. The gatekeepers hid, while writing the last memories. Your father, Bello, was the last gatekeeper. He meant to teach you, but the times were too arcane. All he could do was give you Aliwa and hope you'd hear it one day. Amina trembled. So I'm not just a cleaner, you're a heir to civilization. Mama squeezed her hands. Aliwa only answers those with the blood and a pure heart. It chose you not because you're strong, but because you never forgot dignity. Tonight, when you refused to be a dog, that's when the door began to open. The rain softened. Outside, the hunter's footsteps faded. Amina looked down at Aliwa. Still RM. Not a curse, a purpose. Mama, what do I do? Mama pointed north. Find Professor Namdi. He taught ancient African history at the university before they retired him. He knows more. Aliwa will guide you. But I ken his men, tonight's rain is the ancestors' shield. Mama smiled. And your light will show the way. From her herb shelf, she took a small pouch. Awakening leaves. Begwa RD the mind, block nitame res. Take them, child. Remember, true power doesn't make others kneel. It makes them stand. Amina took it, bowed deeply. She stepped back into the rain, but this time, her steps were sure. Behind her, Mama whispered a prayer, Eshu, guide her path. Let the light return to where it belongs. Amina walked the muddy trail, Alua pressed to her chest like a second heartbeat. She looked up. The clouds pa-root, revealing stars. Then, she hummed the melody from her vision. And Alua hummed back. A soft glow pulsed in time with her voice. Amina smiled. This wasn't the end. It was the beginning. She wasn't just a cleaner to be humiliated. She was Amina Bello, daughter of the gatekeeper, heir to the light. And her war had only just begun. Don Ba Relay broke over Lagos, but the streets were already stirring. Vendors pushed carts of roasted yams, the smell of spices mixing with the humid air. Amina sat on the back of a rickety Okada, gripping Mama 80's herb pouch and Alua tight, her heart in her throat. Professor Namdi, where was he? Mama had only said, Old University. West Side. Red brick building. Basement. But the old university was now swallowed by skyscrapers, most of its red bricks bulldozed. She asked 3 people before someone pointed her to the last standing relic, a crumbling building now labeled African Heritage Research Center, though nobody works there, just old files rotting inside. Amina stopped in front of a vine-choked red brick structure. The iron gate was rusted, the sign illegible. She pushed, it creaked open. Inside, dim light seeped through dusty windows. Hallways were stacked with boxes, walls plastered with faded academic posters, Yoruba cosmology, civilizations west of the Nile. She crept downstairs to a basement door, locked. But the vent beside it, loose. She squeezed through. And stepped into another world. Hundreds of shelves towered to the ceiling, crammed with manuscripts, scrolls, cassette tapes, clay tablets, stone slabs. The air smelled of aged paper and dried herbs. A single desk lamp lit the center of the room, where an old man hunched over papers, Professor Namdi himself, the same silent observer from last night's Paruti. He looked up, squinting through thick glasses. You, he rasped. Alua brought you. Amina nodded, lifting the staff. The professor stood, shaky, but didn't touch it. Just sta read. 37 Rs. I thought it was lost forever. Bello's child. No, daughter. Your father, is he well? He died 3 Rs ago, Amina whispered. Gave me Alua at the end. The professor closed his eyes, murmuring a prayer. When he opened them, they glistened. The gatekeeper is gone, but the door isn't shut yet. He gestured for her to sit, poured her bitter herbal tea. Drink. You'll need it. What happened last night was just the beginning. Professor, what is this? Amina leaned 4-way road. Why does Ikena want it? Why did it glow? Slowly, he pulled a yellowed photo album from a drawer. The first page showed a group of black Rs standing before a pyramid-like structure, holding staffs like Alua. The ground beneath them pulsed with blue light. 1958. The Isle ruins, up the Niger River. We proved it, a civilization older than Egypt by 500 Rs. They harnessed a resonance energy for Fa healing, even communication. But the colonizers called us frauds. His voice turned bitter. British archaeologists took every artifact, burned our papers, said Africa couldn't have advanced civilizations. Amina's fists clenched. But it was real. Of course. He flipped to another page, a fragment of manuscript showing 3 staffs plunged into the EARTH, forming a triangle, a beam of light shooting SKYWA road. The Isle called it light veins. They believed the EARTH had energy channels, like human meridians. Alua is a resonator, it tunes. Into that energy, wakes the sleeping light wells. Those wells could purify water, revive dead soil, even calm violent minds. And Ikena's family, the professor's voice dropped. They were the collaborator chiefs. Helped the colonizers loot sacred sites, got land and power in return. Now is African ART collection 90% stolen. He doesn't know their power. To him, they're just decor. Status symbols. Amina's grip on her cup tightened. So Alua is a key. The professor tapped his chest. It doesn't answer to power or wealth, only blood and character. Last night, when you refused to be a dog. That purity woke it. He led her to a covered wall, yanked the cloth away, a massive map of West Africa, dotted with red Ma Archaeus labeled well, tower, shrine. Known light nodes. Most are destroyed, buried, or turned into malls. Ikena's mansion built on the biggest one, ancestors. Hill. Amina's breath caught. So he's not just a thief, he's standing on our roots, exactly. The professor's eyes burned. And Alua is the prime resonator, the only thing that can wake every sleeping node. Ikena doesn't fear you. He fears the truth, his family's crimes, where his wealth really came from, the lie of his entire identity. Amina sat silent for a long moment. Then, can I learn like you understand all this? The professor studied her, then smiled. You already mama gave you awakening leaves and I'll recipe to sharpen the mind. And Alua. It will teach you the rest. He pulled a goatskin scroll from a shelf. The STAR Chronicles. How to locate light wells by the heavens. Your father memorized Pa RTS. Now, your first lesson. He unrolled the scroll, pointing to a constellation. See Orion's belt aligns with the Yoruba ancestor triangle. When Moon and STARS meet, the EARTH door opens. Easiest. Amina STA read, then gasped. Alua vibrated in her hand. The symbol CA read into it matched the STAR perfectly. It's answering. The professor trembled. It's recognizing you. Child, you're not learning knowledge, you're waking memory. Your ancestors' memory. Then, boom. The whole building shook. Lights flickered, died. Emergency red bulbs buzzed on. The professor paled. They're here. He shoved the scroll at Amina. Go. Back window. Head to Old Well, West Side, NEA are the abandoned rails. Closest node. Alua will guide you. What about you? I'll hold them off. This knowledge can't burn. He grabbed earfuls of manuscripts, stuffing them into a fireproof case. TARS in her eyes, Amina turned just as the door downstairs splintered under heavy boots. She didn't look back. She ran. 10 minutes later, black SUVs screeched into the alley. Armed men stormed the basement. Smashing shelves, torching papers, but Professor Namdi and the most vital texts were gone. Only one sheet remained on the desk, in Yoruba *, knowledge is light. You can't bury it. Burn the pages, it lives in the blood now. Asterisk and FA are across the city, under a railway bridge. Amina unrolled the STAR Chronicles in dim light. Alua pressed against the parchment, its tip glowing faint blue pointing northwest. Somewhere in that direction, buried under trash and time, an ancient well waited. Her first lesson had begun. And beneath the forgotten soil, the light veins were stirring. Dawn mist clung to the abandoned railway tracks, rusted and choked with weeds. Amina crouched under a bridge, clutching the STAR Chronicles and Alua to her chest. Sleepless, she chewed Mama's awakening leaves, bitter mint and roots sharpening her mind. She studied the STAR RTS, cross-referencing Alua's CA Each time her focus deepened, the staff read, like it was listening. Finally, she pinpointed it, 3 kilometers northwest, a light well marked Eniokan Yoruba for source of life. She moved along the tracks as the city woke, distant shouts, train whistles. Sticking to ruins and scrubland, she avoided main roads. Ikena's men wouldn't quit. By noon, she reached it, a wasteland hammed by garbage dumps. Bulldozer tracks. SCA read the dirt, developers were coming. But under piled tires and bottles, stone peeked through. She clawed away trash, revealing a well, its walls etched with symbols identical to Alua's. Kneeling, she touched the staff to the rim. A pulse. Stronger than ever. Deep below, a blue flicker, like a heartbeat. It's alive, she whispered. Professor Namdi's words echoed, light veins are rent commanded. There's some awake. She closed her eyes, breathed deep, and hummed her father's lullaby. Eshu lights the way stars a re-lanterns arth's blood flows unbroken Alyawa burned hotter. The well's glow rose a slow, luminous tide. The ground trembled under her knees. Then vision. No longer in a dump, but a vast grassland. 3 mountains under starry skies, the well at their center. White-robed figures circled it, staffs raised. As one, they plunged them into slots around the rim. A pillar of blue fire spa read the heavens. Light flooded the land. Cracks in drop-dead soil sprouted green. A sick child gasped awake, laughing. People embraced, weeping like rain had finally come. An elder turned to her, gaze piercing time, gatekeeper, light isn't a weapon. Not for power, for healing. It belongs to all. Wake it not for revenge but to make the forgotten remember. The vision shattered. Amina knelt, TRS streaming. She understood now. This light wasn't to crush Ikena. It was to mend the poison rivers, the dying soil, the ERTS broken by greed. She fitted Alyawa into a groove on the well's edge. Blue radiance exploded, racing through cracks in the EARTH. Where it touched, withered grass greened. Water seeped up, clear, sweet. She cupped it, drank. Like swallowing spring itself. Then engines ROA red. 2 black SUVs skidded to a halt. For Gua RDS Cha ridged out, stun batons crackling. There. Grab her. Smash that stick. Amina didn't run. She stood, Alyawa raised. You want control, she said softly. But light answers only to truth. She sang again. Alyawa shook violently. The well's glow surged, a wave of brilliance swallowing the dump. The men staggered, batons fizzling out. One fell, cursing. Witchcraft. No. Amina's voice cut through. This is your ancestors' memory. You forgot. The land didn't. The Gua RDS hesitated. One looked down. A wildflower bloomed. Between his boots. In their confusion, Amina slipped into a drainage tunnel. Her trial was complete. No more Fia R. No more rage. Just purpose. That night, she hid in a derelict church. The next note from the STAR chronicles, crumbling walls, a toppled cross. But when she stepped onto the altar, Alyawa FLA read. Under the rubble a stone slab, its carvings a perfect match for the staff. She slotted Alyawa in. Stained glass Shah RDS blazed to life, painting the walls with ancient rites. Whispers filled the air. Eyeless wisdom, living with nature, healing minds with sound, replacing Wa with light. Real civilization, she realized, wasn't skyscrapers. It was balance. Meanwhile, in Ikena's mansion, a technician screamed at his screens. Boss! The dump, it's going crazy. Thermal scans showed heat spikes. Satellite imagery revealed plants growing at triple speed. Ikena stormed over. Face ashen. That's impossible. Look. The tech switched to infrared. A glowing humanoid shape moved through the ruins. Ikena bolted to his trophy room, yanking down an ancestral mask. He pried its lining APART Alyawa's symbols STA read back. His father's deathbed warning haunted him, that thing it'll wake it'll come home. He grabbed his phone, SNA rolling, send 10 men. Concrete the well. Bury it forever. Back in the church, Amina sat cross-legged, Alyawa in her lap, RT still. No longer the humiliated cleaner. No longer the vengeful awakened. She was the gatekeeper now. And her trials had only begun. Ikena's orders tore through the city's west side like a storm. Bulldozers ROA red. Cement trucks lined up NEA are the wasteland. Ahmed Gua RDS shoved away onlookers, locals, journalists. The official statement unstable ground. Emergency fill. Public safety. From a rusted water tower. Amina watched workers pour grey sludge into Eniokan well. Alyawa trembled in her grip, humming a mournful note, like a dying pulse. No, her nails bit into her palms. She wanted to cha RGE in, but knew she'd be caught. They could bury the well, but not the memory of light. She slipped back to Mama Adie's hut. The old woman stirred a pot of herbs, sighing, "They're SCA red. SCA red of the light. But the well's gone," Amina choked out. "Child," Mama handed her a bitter brew, "the well was a cup. The light's the water. Break the cup, the water remains. As long as someone remembers, it can return." The tea burned Amina's throat, then sweetened. Professor Nambi's words echoed, "More nodes exist, Sacred Grove, Old Mayorket Sqa Re, Ancestors Bridge Alioa will find them." She set out for Old Mayorket Triangle, downtown, once Isla's trading hub. But Mama stopped her, pressing an old phone into her hands. "Left for you. For the gatekeeper." Amina tapped play. A video. A young woman sat in a lavish study, Lillian Adebayo, Ikena's daughter. Her polished face was tense. "Ms. Amina Bello," she whispered in English, "I don't know if you'll see this. My father, he's hunting you. He wants to destroy your staff." She flipped open a diary, "My great-grandfather's. 1912, he helped British archaeologists steal 3 sacred items. One was Alioa. They called it a primitive idol, shipped it to London, then secretly brought it back as a family treasure." The screen cut to a yellowed page, a sketch of Alioa labeled, "Resonator. Activates light grid. Dangerous. Do not touch. Last night, my father's electronics failed. The epicenter that mask linked to your staff." Lillian's voice cracked, "I don't believe Africa was primitive anymore. Our ancestors might have been ahead of us. And my family's wealth built on theft." A map flashed. Old Mayorket's underground, a red circle marking, resonance point. Excavate with caution. Hope reignited. That night, Amina disguised herself as a cleaner, slipping into the empty marquette. Alioa burned NEAR's central stall. She pried up a loose tile, a black stone slab. Spiral carvings matched the STAR Chronicles infocore. She laid Alioa on it. A pulse. Blue veins lit up. Information flooded her mind, a map of West Africa's light veins, an ancient reconciliation ritual. Words flashing, door needs 3, blood, wisdom, conscience. 3. Amina frowned. Then, footsteps. She hid as Guards past. Boss says Marquette renovation starts tomorrow. Dig up the floors. Another cover-up like that well last month. Says it's haunted. Her stomach dropped. Another node, about to die. She remembered Lillian. Maybe conscience was the 3rd. Key from a Library computer, she messaged Lillian, "Light isn't dead. Just forgotten. You're the Spa RK." Suddenly Lillian sat beside her, disguised in sunglasses. "I got your message," she murmured. "You're right. I can't pretend anymore." She showed a jade pendant, her mother's. Its back bore Alioa's door symbol. Amina gasped. Blood, wisdom, conscience, not 3 people, 3 forces. Amina equals blood, gatekeeper's heir, Namdi equals wisdom, historian, Lillian equals conscience, thief's daughter choosing truth. "Help me," Amina said. Lillian's eyes gleamed, "My father's erasing our roots. I won't let my kids grow up thinking skyscrapers are all we've ever had." They planned at midnight. Amina activates the slab. Lillian distracts Guards with a fake lead. As they pa route, Ikena raged in his mansion, smashing vases. "Where's Lillian?" "Gone, sir. Phone off." He stormed. To his trophy room, the mask's eyes glowed faint blue. He stumbled back, pale. "It's back to collect across the city, 2 women, a cleaner and an heiress, united for one goal, make Africa remember itself." The door of light about to open. The old Mayorkat fell silent under the roar of bulldozers. Stalls emptied by force, signs toppled, spices and fabrics trampled. Guards patrolled with rifles, razor wire sealing the perimeter. Ikena's orders were clear: rebuild the foundation. Pour concrete. Leave no trace. Amina watched from a laundromat attic, Alioa pulsing in her grip like a grieving heart. The buried slab was screaming. Time was running out. Construction began at 5 a.m. Her phone lit up with Lillian's text, "Midnight. I'll distract them. You get 10 minutes. she inhaled Sha RPLY. This wasn't just about saving a node. It was about telling the city, some things can't be erased by money or power. Phase 1. The old man's memory. She found old Abu, the spice vendor who'd worked the market for 40 years. Uncle Abu, she whispered, remember the stones under this ground, the light ceremonies? His milky eyes widened. You know my grandfather said blue blows at midnight, songs in the air. Then the British came, called it witchcraft, sealed the stones. We forgot. She showed him Professor Nambi's hand-drawn map of light veins. If this light could return, heal the land, cure the sick, would you help? Tars streaked his wrinkled face. I've sold spices my whole life, watched the city sicken. If our ancestors' light still lives, let it shine on us again. Phase 2, the students fire. An anonymous packet hit Lagos University's student forum. STAR Cha RTS, staff symbols, geomagnetic data. Proof of Isle. Student leader Ture rallied his peers, this isn't myth. It's buried history. We can't just lecture about Africa. Rising, we need to show it. A movement Sparkhead, reclaim our names. Phase 3, the Eris Gambit. Midnight. Lillian's UNMA or KED-CA are rolled into a blind spot. She called the head Gua RD, voice urgent to the cleaners at the docks. She's got the staff, hurry. Miss, your father said, I swear on my family's pendant. Move. 10 Gua RDs peeled away. 4 left. Phase 4, the awakening. Amina pried up a tile. The black slab thrummed under Alyawah's touch. Blue light erupted, cracking concrete as weed shot up, blooming in seconds. Her mind flooded with visions, ILS Info Corps in action, staff slotting into slabs, showering knowledge, settling disputes, predicting storms. Not magic. A network of collective wisdom. She filmed it, glowing veins, miraculous growth, and uploaded it. This isn't CGI. It's our ancestors' science. They spoke the EARTH's language. We forgot. The land didn't. 10 minutes. Out. The aftermath. By dawn, the video exploded. Skeptics scoffed, bad Photoshop. But a botanist analyzed, this growth rate defies biology. Geologists matched the data to the wasteland's anomalies. Locals testified, my grandma told me about fire under the soil. The elite mocked, superstitious nonsense. The streets answered. Graffiti Ape read, Alyawa piercing concrete, light flooding slums. They buried the well. Not the light. Subway stations played oral histories. In 53, I saw glowing stones by the river. Students held candlelit vigils at ruins, singing the lullaby from Amina's video. Ikena's meltdown. His mansion descended into chaos. Electronics failed, TV's static, AC's dead, even his vault's digital lock fried. The ancestral mask glowed brighter, pulsing with the city's awakening. He grabbed a hammer, Cha ridged at it. Alyawa's image flickered across its surface. A voice boomed in his skull, you stand on roots yet beg for fruit. Pathetic. He collapsed, sweat-drenched. For the first time, money and power couldn't smother the truth. Epilogue, the Spa RKS. Amina stood on a rooftop in the slums, watching the STARSE notifications flooded her burner phone. Gatekeeper's voice hits 100k followers. 3 new light nodes. Gua ride by locals. Professor Nambi's encrypted message, safe. Compiling the true history. She stroked Alyawa. Papa, they're remembering. Below, children circled a fire, singing the old lullaby. Light seeped through the cracks. The storm had only begun. Gatekeeper's voice went viral. In 3 days, #light veins trended across West Africa. Lagos streets bloomed with blue ribbons. Kids painted glowing wells on walls. Nightwalkers CA ride candles, hunting for nodes. Ikena panicked. At an emergency BOA RD meeting, he slammed the table, this is rebellion. Stirring. The poor against us. Crush it now. His PR team rolled out the plan. Sue Amina for fake news, public disorder, declare all glow sites, hazardous radiation zones, label Alyawa a cult relic, issue an Interpol alert approved. That night, sirens wailed. Arrest at Mama's hut. Cops kicked in the door, wrenched Alyawa from Amina's hands. Mama raged. What law did she break remembering ancestors? Inciting unrest, the officer droned, cuffing Amina. She didn't resist. Just said, you can't jail light. It lives in HRTS now. Interrogation room. The detective flipped her file. A cleaner grade school education and this stick wakes up. I'll not me waking it. Amina met his eyes. It woke me. Like Yoruba didn't start with you, it chose you. He froze. His mother used to hum that lullaby. You're causing chaos, he muttered. Forgetting causes chaos, she whispered. Not remembering. Ever hear light under the EARTH? As a kid your family's well, why is it sweeter than others? Not luck. The detective's pen hovered. His grandma had burned herbs by their well, called it ancestor's breath. He closed the notebook. You're held. But the stick gone to the national lab. Lab Nitame scientists scanned Iowa. Impossible results. Would 3000 plus ya rs old ca urban 14 readings, like time glitched x-ray attempt machine fried. Blue GLA refilled screens. Midnight a la RM security footage showed Iowa glowing alone in its vault. All data wiped. HA road drives dead. What the hell? The tech collapsed. Ikena's breakdown. He smashed the ancestral mask with a hammer. Each hit made it glow brighter. Finally, a beam shot out, revealing a hidden mural of his great-grandfather kneeling to all priests, handing over Iowa. Burning villages behind him. Yoruba text bled through, traitors never rest. Ikena sobbed. Father called it savage ritual, but it was theft. We're thieves. Professors WA a room hidden in a bunker, Namdi huddled with historians, scientists. The complete history of ILA open. Amina's arrest is a test, he said. But when they silence truth, it shouts louder. He pointed to a map. All light veins converge here. Ancestors Hill. Under Ikena's mansion. The core. To wake it, we need 3 keys of the blood key, Iowa, Amina, wisdom key, STAR chronicles, us, conscience key, family pendant, Lillian. A radio crackled. Encrypted message from Lillian. Father broken. Pendant burning. Blueprints confirm ancient chamber under house. I'm going in. Namdi smiled. The door's opening. Jailbreak. Amina's cell creaked open at 3 a.m. A black female cop shoved her a hoodie. Phone. Go. My dad. He remembers the stories too. Why risk this? Because you reminded me, I'm not just police. I'm Yoruba. First. Church showdown. Amina sprinted to the derelict church, 7th node. Iowa sat in an evidence locker. Gua ride. She crawled through drains, used mama's herbs to knock out the Gua RDS. Fingers closed on Iowa. Boom. Stained glass erupted in blue fire. Light flooded the sky. Across town, Ikena's mansion blacked out. The city erupted. People poured into streets. Some knelt. Some filmed. Kids sang the lullaby. Legos didn't sleep that night. And Amina, she stood on the broken altar, Iowa raised high, light painting her face. No longer the cleaner forced to drink from a dog bowl. The messenger of light. She whispered to the STARS, Papa, I'm home. The veins were connected. One door left. The night the blue light tore through the abandoned church, Lagos froze. CARS stopped. People STA read. Even sirens choked silent. The glow wasn't HRSH, just ancient, solemn, punching. Through clouds like a silent decree, the age of forgetting is over. Ikena's meltdown in his deranged mansion. Ikena clutched the family jade pendant. It burned, blue light leaking between his fingers, painting his twisted face. Outside, the city lay blacked out. Only the church's light tower remained, coldly watching his hilltop palace built on loot. It's calling, he whispered. Vines of Fia are squeezing his ERT. Ancestors Hill is waking. Amina's move. She didn't bask in the church's glow. She moved. Professor Namdi's voice crackled over encrypted comms. Lillian confirmed it. A sealed temple under the mansion. Entrance in the study. She'll create a distraction. Dawn's your deadline. Security. All eyes are on the church. Ikena pulled Gua RDS to investigate. Only window we've got. Amina rallied her crew. Old Abu, Teray, taxi drivers, cleaners. No weapons. Just a hunger to remember. We're not here to fight, she said. We're here to come home. To open a door shut for a century. Midnight infiltration. Lillian's gambit. She rammed her father's car into the estate gates, blaring a la RMS Iqua RDS scrambled. Meanwhile, she pressed the jade to a hidden mechanism in the study, from great-granddad's treasure map. A painting slid aside, revealing stone stairs down. Amina's team scaled the cliffs, slipped through gardens like shadows. They met Lillian at the entrance. Father's losing it, she whispered. Kneeling before the mask, begging forgiveness. 10 minutes before patrols loop back. Amina squeezed her hand. You chose conscience. The descent. The stairs plunged deep, walls carved with all symbols matching Alia's. The lower they went, the hotter the staff pulsed in Amina's grip. Then, the door. A massive stone slab, etched with 3 slots left, staff-shaped, Aliwa, right, pendant-shaped. Lillian's jade, center, scroll-shaped, STAR Chronicles, blood. Wisdom. Conscience, Amina murmured. 3 keys to open. She slotted Aliwa left. Lillian placed the jade right. The center empty. Where's the STAR Chronicles? Lillian hissed. Then a ROAR behind them. Ikena's last stand. He stormed in with 4 guardias, wild-eyed, waving an antique shotgun. Thieves. Stealing my home. Amina didn't flinch. She yanked Aliwa free, faced him. This isn't your home. It's our roots. Your great-granddad stole it from priests, built your mansion on blood and lies. You're standing on a sanctuary. Lies. Savage ruins. Then why? She raised Aliwa. Does it only glow for me? Why do your electronics die in EAR at white as your daughter's jade? Answer. It's call, not vengeance. Resonance. Your family's sins are re-screaming. Ikena's gun shook. I'll shoot. Amina stepped closer. Do it. But you can't kill memory. Can't kill light. Can't kill a people wanting to remember. Lillian stepped forward. RD, pendant raised. Father, I read the diaries. We're thieves. Our wealth sits on graves. I won't pretend anymore. You betray me. I choose to be human. The song of opening. Namdi's voice buzzed in Amina's earpiece. Sing the STAR Chronicles frequency. Yoruba old tongue. It's the sound key. Amina closed her eyes. Sang asterisk. Pleiades shift, triangle aligns light from below, door unbinds asterisk. Her voice, pure as spring water. Aliwa and the jade FLA red brighter, harmonizing. Ikena's gun warped, metal overheating. The door's symbols rotated, humming. Lillian joined the chant. Their voices braided, vibrating the stone. Aliwa's light flooded the door. Crack, the empty scroll slot flickered to life, a hologram of the STAR Chronicles. Wisdom, a writing unseen. 3 keys complete. The door split. Open, blue light gushing out like the EARTH blinking awake. Ikena's gun clattered. He collapsed, wailing, Father, we were wrong. The temple. Amina didn't look back. She took Lillian's hand, stepped into the glow. Beyond a perfect circular, our shrine. 3 pillar RS in a triangle, tops notched for Aliwa. A dome of painted STARSE floor thrumming with energy circuits. Ancestors Hill. ILSERT. Amina walked to the center, Aliwa raised high. The final moment had come. At the shrine's ERT, Amina raised Aliwa. Blue light exploded from the staff, kissing the STAR painted dome. The floor's energy circuits woke up one by one, veins pumping life again. The air hummed, sweet like honey, the scent of light veins reborn. She slotted Aliwa into the central pillar. Boom. A sound too deep for EARS shook the EARTH. The 3 pillar RS lit up, beams braiding into a triangle of light. That SPEA read the sky. Ikena's mansion quaked. Glass shattered. Concrete cracked. He crawled outside, watching his empire of loot crumble in ancestral glow. Then light erupted through every fissure, a geyser of blue punching through clouds, meeting Orion's belt in a sky to ARTH bridge. Lagos witnessed magic. Not HRSH. Not lightning. Soft. WARM. Like a mother's hand on fevered skin. Every device in the city died, then rebooted, screens flooding with the same vision. ILS Golden Age. Floating light towers humming with energy, tips brushing the stars. Fields unwatered, crops thriving under blue waves. Healers tuning bodies like instruments, wounds healing in seconds. Children learning constellations under glowing trees. Elders murmuring history by luminous wells. A chorus of voices, Yoruba, Igbo, Zulu, Swahili, merged into English. We once knew light. We never truly lost it. The city held its breath. Knees hit dirt. A RMS spread wide. A slum mother rocked her baby, singing the lullaby as a dead flower in her child's fist bloomed blue. This light remembered. It loved. It didn't destroy. It awakened. Miracles unfold. Enoken well burst through concrete, water clear are as mirrors, weeds exploding into forests. Old Amayurket slab birthed glowing flowers, sending the air. Ikenas Ga Rden, the British oak, symbol of colonial victory, withered. A native Irako sapling shot up, 10 feet in a minute. Science lost its mind. Satellites detected benign geomagnetic anomalies. Air quality jumped 1000%. Hospitals reported chronic pain eased. Depression lifted. Ecologists screamed, "This isn't cleanup, it's conversation." The lights talking to the land. Ikena's redemption. He crawled into the shrine at dawn, fingers brushing. A pillar light hugged him. A vision, his great-grandfather weeping over Alyua in a burning village. An Al priest's voice, "You stole light but never understood. You built towers but lost your soul. True civilization lives not in stone, but in blood." Ikena broke. "My father lied, we were the savages," he groveled before Amina. "Take it all, my loot, my land, my money. Just let me fix something." She hauled him up. "I don't speak for the ancestors. But light never turns away a sorry heart. You'll repay by giving this hill back to the EARTH. You'll demolish my home, no." She gestured at the shrine. "We'll build the African Wisdom Revival Center here. You'll return every stolen artifact. You'll confess on national TV." Tars dripped off his chin. "I'll spend my life making amends." The broadcast 3 days later, Ikena Adebayo faced Nigeria. "My family's wealth was theft. We called Al primitive, but we were the lost ones. Today, I donate all artifacts to the Memory Museum. Return the hill for the Revival Center. Fund cultural healers across the continent. Ikena Adebayo, beg forgiveness." Silence. Then thunderous applause. Epilogue, the light's choice. Amina pulled Alyua from the pillar R. The glow dimmed but didn't die, pulsing gently, like the EARTH's heartbeat. Namdi wept, "You did it. The light's back." "No." She stroked the staff. "It never left. We just forgot to look." Outside, dawnlight danced with blue. Press SWA or Med Amina. "You saved Africa." She shook her head, smiling, "I'm no hero. Just a woman who remembered her name." She pointed past them, slum kids singing by a restored well. Students 3D printing L symbols. Mayorket elders teaching herb lore. Heroes are everyone choosing to remember. Light doesn't live in shrines. It lives here. She touched her chest. Raising Alyua, she whispered, "It won't belong to anyone. When needed it'll find the next gatekeeper." Wind lifted blue motes, scattering them over the city, the soil, the eyes of everyone gazing up. The awakening wasn't an end. It was a beginning. 1 year later, the rainy season. Lagos skies weren't just smog and neon anymore. At the city's highest point, the African Wisdom Revival Center stood half-built. Ikena's mansion was gone, replaced by an open-air campus blending mud huts and solar tech. At its ERT, 3 stone pillars glowed faint blue, a tribute to Ancestors Hill, a beacon for the light veins. Inside, Shole artisans, and kids from across West Africa buzzed. Mama 80 taught teens to spot awakening leaves in the herb Ga Rden. Professor Namdi used holograms to explain LSSTAR maps. The memory workshop packed. Kids molded clay staffs, sang family histories into recordings. The founder wasn't there. Sunshine Village, Lagos East. Amina sat on a stool outside her tin shack, teaching. Blackbow Road, a scrap of wood. Chalk, burned sticks. Textbooks, her handwritten lullaby sandbook of the EARTH. Today's lesson, she smiled. What is light? A boy waved, the blue glow from the staff. The stars in the shrine, a girl added. Amina shook her head. Light is remembering. Remembering our names. Our ancestors' wisdom. The blood and songs this land holds. She glanced at Aliwa perched on a shelf like a quiet teacher. Sometimes, when the kids sang, it warmed up, flickering blue. Teacher, a girl asked, Dad says you're a hero who can make people fly. Amina laughed. I can't fly. But I want you to stand. Stand tall, not bowed by poverty, shame, or anyone saying you can't. She pointed at the distant center. It's beautiful. But real light isn't on a hill. It's here. She tapped her chest. After class kids scattered. Amina packed up, headed to the community water station, a joint project with the center. Its purifier ran on a tiny light-frequency resonator, inspired by Aliwa, using EARTH energy to clean murky well water. An elder woman handed her mangoes. Thank you. Since the water clear red, my grandson's rashes healed. Not me, Amina said. All of us built it. Our ancestors' wisdom. The light. The woman shook her head. You made us believe. Before, we just cursed the government. Now. We fix things ourselves. Amina stayed quiet. Real change wasn't about a savior. It was helping people be their own light. Dusk. Home. Her phone rang. Lillian. Amina, father handed over the last artifacts today. He's thinner. But his eyes are clear. He wants to open a truth school in the villages, teach real history. He found his path. Amina said. You the center's opening tomorrow. They're begging you to speak. I won't go. Amina watched kids chase fireflies outside. That place needs heroes. Sunshine Village needs a teacher. She hung up, flipped open her father's notebook. The last page read *, gatekeepers don't guard gates. They point the way. Once open all may enter. *, she stroked Aliwa. This past year, she'd refused every title. Not the center's director. Not national hero. Not a single paid endorsement. She just taught people to remember. Herbal remedies instead of pricey pills. Oral history projects preserving family sagas. Games that recreated light ceremonies. Her mantra, Aliwa isn't mine. It belongs to everyone who remembers. Nightfall at the center's grand opening, Ikenna took the stage, voice cracking. Today, I return not just land, but conscience. We thought civilization meant skyscrapers, wealth. Western approval. Real civilization respect. Memory. Wisdom to live with the EARTH, not on it. Thank you, Amina Bello. You showed me, I'm African too. The crowd erupted. Downhill, by a fire. Amina sat with neighbors, passing mangoes. A teen strummed a guitar, humming the lullaby. Aliwa, propped NEARBY, pulsed blue, soft, like a nod. She looked up. Clouds pa root. STARS. Papa, she whispered, I'm home. I remembered. And I helped them remember. The door of light wasn't a place. Not the shrine. Not the hilltop. It lived in stargazer's eyes. In every sung lullaby. In the RTS that refused to forget. She wasn't a gatekeeper writing secrets. Just a woman who pointed the way. The light had always been there. You just had to choose to see it. The fire of civilization never went out.